Hello class, I will be showing you how to use Premiere Pro, which is going to be the editing suite that you're going to be using for all the projects that you film in my class this year, starting with the director project with the scene that you'll be trying to recreate. Let's start with what pops up when you open up Premiere Pro, and it's going to be this window here. And the first thing you're going to do is name your project. We're just going to name it Test. And then down on location, that's basically where you'll be saving your project to. I just have it to my documents. You can choose to save it wherever you would like. Just make sure you remember where that is. The few things here, you're just always going to keep them the same, but just in case it gets switched up, I'll let you know. The render, you're going to keep to the GPU acceleration. That's just for better playback. The video, always keep it on timecode. That's what we'll be working with. Audio, keep it on audio samples, and the capture is going to be on HDV, which is basically high definition. When you switch over to scratch discs, make sure that everything is going to be saved the same as project, as it shows here. That basically means that all of the other elements that you put into this will be saved where you save your general project. That just makes it easy to go back and find anything that you need to replace. So we're going to click OK, and that's going to bring up the full screen of what the editing suite looks like. This is what the interface will look like when you edit any of your projects. It'll be set up basically this way. You can change the different windows around if you so choose, but this is the default interface look. In this area right here, we'll be putting videos in later, but in this area right here, this is your preview window. This is your playback window. This will be your timeline, and this will be the area for where you have folders for your video, audio, and or pictures that you import. Then you can see these tabs up here. The one that we'll be using most frequently, obviously, is the project window here, like I stated, and then the effects window right here. And here are basically all the effects that you can use within the Premiere Pro. We'll be touching on some of those also as the class goes on. Next, I want to show you guys basically how to import video, which is going to be what starts the editing process. So you're going to go to the project window, and as you can see, when you click on it, it outlines in blue. So if I click on the timeline here, that's outlined in blue. If I click on the project window, that's outlined in blue. And that basically means that that is the area that you have selected. So once you've selected your project folder, you're going to right click and you're just going to hit import. And then it brings up this window here, and you can select anywhere on your computer, as you would, with any device. If you want to find things in documents or an external hard drive, or this is our SD card that we have been filming on. So I put that into my computer. It's not named, but I'm going to use this as our example, and this is going to be some of the hockey game that I filmed from my team that I coach. And all we're going to do is we're just going to select each clip that we want, which is an MP4 file, and we're going to click it, and we're just going to hit import. And then it begins to import the files. Takes sometimes a little bit depending on how much time you have with the videos. And as you can see, it highlights them here, and these are in each one of the videos. Now, there's a couple cool things before we even get started with the editing process on what you can do here. This is the list view. So they're basically just listed as individual clips here. Or if you go down right to here, you can show them as actual thumbnails, and basically they will come up as pictures, once it loads up here. And you could scroll over and get a little preview of the video if you wanted to. I always just keep it in the list view. I feel like it's more organized. You can choose whichever way you want to. Another cool feature here for organization. Organization is so key in the editing process, and I can't stress that enough, and I will continue to stress that all year, that the more organized you are, the easier it will be to edit. So if you just, in a blank area here, if you right click, you'll see new bin. All you do is create that, creates a new bin, and we'll call this offense. So basically, now I can itemize each one of my videos into a more detailed bin. So if I just take a few of these clips, I'm not sure exactly which ones are which, but let's say these bottom 3 are all offensive plays. I can then highlight them, as I did here, click and drag them into offense, and now they're in the offensive folder. So what you see here is that if I get the little arrow down, the 3 videos that I selected are now in the offensive folder. Let me clean this up here a little bit. I'll make one more. We'll just call it defense. And we will highlight the rest of them and throw them in the defensive folder. And we'll close that. And now that is what your project folder window looks like. You have your offense. Here's the clips in them. And then you have your defense, and here is the clips in them as well. The last thing I really wanted to show you for the basics is how to create, a new video on the timeline here. So once we have all of our video imported that we want, we will now go into one of the clips, let's say, and there's all kind of different variations as we have talked about with, for shooting in 30 frames per second, 24 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and if we're shooting in HD or not. And you can set up your timeline for your project to basically be any of those forms. But the easiest way, actually, Premiere makes it really easy for you, is that the video that you filmed, which this I shot, as you can see, in 29 frames per second, so basically 30 frames. You would click on the video that you want to put into your timeline, and if you actually double click it, it will come up in your preview window, as I discussed here. And let's just scroll ahead a little bit, okay? So now that is our preview window, okay? So now that we have that selected, we can just right click on it, and it gives you a bunch of different options, but we want to use this option right here, which is New Sequence from Clip. And what we do is we click it, and it creates a new sequence for our timeline, and it takes all of the ramifications as the frame rate and what we shot it in, and it puts it into our timeline. So this entire timeline now on this sequence is going to be under those ramifications. And this is the little scroll bar here that we can just drag and view the entire clip, as I'm showing you right here. And this is our playback window, as I discussed here, okay? And without getting into too much detail, which we will later on, I just wanted to show you the last couple more parts. These are your video tracks, V1, V2, V3, and you can basically go up to infinity. You can continue to add video track upon video track upon video track and layer them. Same with the audio here. Audio 1, Audio 2, Audio 3, your master audio track, and you just continue to go. As you can see, we only have the one video track and the one audio track here, which I just highlighted for you. And as you play it here, you can see on the right-hand side, those are the audio bars that will be going as you're viewing the clips, so you can keep them, in a relative perspective that you want to. And then, the last couple of things I just wanted to show you is that you can lock different tracks here. So if you have a couple more video tracks that you wanted to put on, but you didn't want to mess up the first one, let's say, you can lock it, and then nothing can accidentally be taken away with that. And, same with the audio as well. And then the last thing is I'll just drag another, video onto your sequence. So I'm going back into, let's, make it, a little bit more challenging. We'll go into our defensive folder here, and we'll take this clip, and all we do is we click and drag it over, and then we just put it right next to it. So now you have two different clips, as you can see, from actually two different games. That is basically the absolute basics of Premiere Pro. The last thing I do want to say is that it auto saves for you, but as everything with any of your work, you always want to save the project periodically, so in case the computer shuts down or the program malfunctions, that, you don't lose your work. But I do say that it does auto save periodically, so that will help you out. That's basically the basics of Premiere Pro. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me in class or email me. We will be working with this throughout the entire year. I just wanted to get you the feel of the basics, so when you go into it, you at least know where some of the items are. Have yourself a good day. Thank you.